Hello YouTube, this is Jay Coder back with another stream, and today I'm going to be going over a article I wrote about variables. I'm going to be mostly going over the code in inside the Kotlin playground so that we can see examples of how they work. So this is going to be a review refresher course over variables. Even if you're learning them the first time, that's good, or you're just reviewing them. This is good for refreshing for interviews or refreshing for tests or anything like that, or just, program getting ready to program that new project in general. All right, let's go ahead and without further ado, let's go ahead and go over it. So what I did was I wrote a article called Kotlin Variables, a Laughing Matter. It's pretty much a lighthearted approach to Kotlin, kind of being lighthearted and funny to kind of get the concept across a bit. So, what we have in Kotlin is var and val. So, mutable versus immutable. Var, of course, mutable, val, immutable. Mutable means it can be changed, or yeah, mutable means it can be changed, immutable means it cannot be changed. So let's go over this code snippet here. This code snippet is an example of our in Kotlin. So we're going to go ahead and put this here. It says var party mode equals excited and party mode tired. And as you can imagine, you can see what the output will be there. So actually it wants inside the Kotlin playground we cannot delete the main. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back here, and then let's go ahead and run that. And so yeah, var equals this string excited and tired. And you know, you see that right here, it can be changed. So this is gonna be something that's mutable. And remember, var change. It can always be changed. And so, you see this illustration of the character here that's always changing clothes. And so you should associate that with var, so you can get that in your mind that it's changeable. And then, we have this illustration of val. Val is the reliable buddy that it never changes. Val is like the reliable friend who always shows up on time, dressed appropriately, never changes their mind. So that's what you should associate val with in Kotlin. So let's go ahead and take this code snippet here, and let's go ahead and test it in the Kotlin playground here. And oh yeah, I can't delete the main. The main always has to remain. So let's go ahead and put this here. And then when we play it, so now we have val. Val cannot be changed because it is immutable. So let me go ahead and uncomment this. And so on this line would cause an error as val cannot be reassigned. So let's check if that is true. Val cannot be reassigned. So we get an error there. So yeah, remember Val is like the knight that is reliable. All right, now we go to understanding the basic data types, such as integers, booleans, strings. A lot of different programming languages have them, and so this is the syntax that you would perform in Kotlin to declare these type of variables. And in Kotlin, the the types, they don't necessarily always have to be um, assigned. Whereas in Kotlin, it it can automatically determine what type of variable it is, just by the declaration, just by assigning it a value. But anyway, let's go ahead and show you guys this here with the variables. So of course, we have the variables here where this is a 5 true, and this is a string. And so remember, this is val, it cannot be changed. So, you know, like always, if you want to print something, you would say print ln and then our actual variable. So I'll go ahead and print our second variable here. And then I'm going to go ahead and play that. So it was assigned to true. And of course, you can say false. Now it's false. And so let me go ahead and print out our whole number here, which our whole number is 5. And then let me also try that. All right. So you see that I did not have to explicitly put int right there. It automatically knew that it's an integer because I assigned the 5 to it. Likewise for this, it will already know that this is false because it's a boolean. So you don't have to always explicitly declare the type for the variables in Kotlin. So, all right, and then another thing that you shouldn't forget is the string templates, which is also similar to JavaScript, whereas with the string templates, that basically means that yeah, it's a very simple concept, but it basically means you can put this dollar sign and then the variable name inside the string. And so you don't have to like say something like plus and then the variable name or something like that. You can put the string template here, and it will just output as if you know as like normal, such as guest name is Alice. So of course it's gonna say, "Hey Alice, the party starts at 8 p.m." and you have the party time here. Just remember, with the variable, you need the dollar sign in front of it to print out the variable name instead of the, because if you omit this, of course, it's gonna just say guest name. And so always remember the dollar sign, and then you can change the template to whatever you want, such as that can be alley, and this can be 5, and then it will automatically adjust based on what that variable is. So very easy concept, something that you can always remember. Late to the party, late initialized variables. So there's something called lateinit in Kotlin, and so with late init, you don't necessarily have to initialize the value right away. You can initialize the value later in the program, and then begin to use it. So basically, let's say like, let's go ahead and add that to our program. Let's say, we have this like so, and let's say, we do the use the late init right here and declare it like that up here. And then, you know, just like we did in these variables, we initialize them right away. But this is a latecomer, and this does not have a variable initialized to it yet. And so, we go on with our program and do different stuff in our program. And then finally, all right, we're ready to use the latecomer variable. We go ahead and assign that to the value. So latecomer finally arrived, and then we can print that out. And then, it's going to say, our last example, hey, Ali, the party starts at 5 p.m. And then the latecomer says finally arrived. Now, okay, remember late init means that you, the programmer, promises to initialize the value at some point later in the program. But let's see what happens if we forget to initialize the latecomer and try to use it, such as try to print it even though we have not initialized it. I commented it out there. Boom, we get an error. Latecomer latecomer has not been initialized. So it's based on you, the programmer, to remember to initialize that before you use it in any way. So remember and be careful with late init. And so, all right. And Kotlin has array and different, collection types. Array being one of the popular ones, and there's other ones like list and things like that. But so, like a quick syntax for the array is you can say, part of guess, which a val, which remember val is going to be immutable, so you cannot change this unless make it a val var, I mean. And then, so you're going to have Alice, Bob, Charlie, and it's array of. You can say array of, or you can say a list of. But remember, in Kotlin, that's the syntax where you have a lowercase array, then a uppercase of, and then inside here you can initialize it with your data. So that's how it is in Kotlin, and then you can access it later with the first. The first index, which is this is index 0, 1, 2, like in pretty much most other programming languages. And then once you play that, it will play the index of what you tell it. So what would this be? This would be Charlie would be an index of 2. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. And so we play that 2, or we put that 2 there, and then it outputs the Charlie. Okay. And so also we have this concept called lazy initialization in Kotlin. So basically, it's kind of a complex, more of a complicated thing in Kotlin. Um, so it says here, lazy initialization is like a having a friend who won't prepare for the party until they're sure it's happening. Lazy initialization is useful for expensive operations that you don't want to do until you absolutely have to. It's like not cooking a huge feast until you're sure guests are coming. This helps in saving resources and optimization performance. So, basically, I'm thinking like a real world application for this would be if you do not want your app to take a long time to load something that's not necessarily needed at that moment to load, but the user could do whatever they need to do, you know, um, without having to run into this loading issue until it's absolutely necessary. So, in the very simplest form here, is we have this variable lazy party prep string by lazy. So notice this by lazy. So this is the syntax of Kotlin to say that, hey, this is going to be a lazy initialization. So inside our studio, I'm sorry, our Kotlin playground here, we're going to go ahead and paste this code in there. And so basically, we inside our, um, let's see, inside our main function, we are declaring this lazy party prep variable that's going to be a string by lazy, and then we can do different operations before it's initialized, such as this print line, and then when we um, are ready to initialize it, we initialize it with this variable here, and then so when we play it, it hits this. Is everything ready? And then boom, preparing for the party. Does a, you can like have a bunch of stuff that needs to load or get ready, and it's doing all this, doing all this, doing all this. Then boom, everything is ready. So that's kind of how lazy init is. So remember, this in Kotlin. Remember that syntax where string by lazy brackets, and then your execution and your uh, initialization of the variable. And so it's this keyword by string by lazy. All right. And then also in Kotlin, there is null safety, which is an important thing that we have in Kotlin, because we do not want, if we do not keep track of the nulls, then the program will crash at sometimes, and it's hard to debug exactly where it crashed or why it crashed. But with these null safety checks, we can prevent it from crashing unexpectedly. So, inside Kotlin, we have something called a safe call. So basically, they use this question mark here when declaring something. And so when they use this question mark, that means that it can be initialized with null, and that we can safely call the program if it is null with this question mark without it just automatically crashing. So, and then we have a thing called the Elvis operator where you have the question mark and the colon. And basically, if you want to, if you're using this variable and it is null, then it can assign this variable to it automatically. So, you know, with this output, it's going to be balloons because balloons was set to it because no value was set to it. So let's go ahead and play with this a little bit inside our playground. And so inside our playground here, I'm going to go ahead and put this here. And then so it's a safe call, so should not crash. Sorry about that. I gotta remember that I cannot delete the main. So we put that inside our main in our Kotlin playground. By the way, this is the developer.android.com training slash Kotlin playground. You can paste any Kotlin code you want to play around with in this interface. And so what we have here is all right, so save call outputs null. It doesn't crash our system, and we're trying to access the length of something that is not that's initialized as null. So all right, and then down here we have the Elvis operator, and then since decoration is null, we did not change it to anything else besides that, then decor- decoration is balloons. So basically, let's say that decorations is colorful strings. And then we play, and then so we get the length of that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16 letters inside this string. So it can successfully detect the length because it's not null. So what if we, delete this and also delete this and then play that? And then, it still works because it's initialized to a variable. But however, what if we, you know, put this at null without the question mark? So boom, not null cannot be a value of non-null type string. So our program crashed because this is indeed null. So basically, we do indeed need the question mark in order to continue as expected without the program stopping and crashing. We can still go forward and the app can still be running even though it's null. And then, so basically, when we can always change this later to something else. Decorations equals like glitter, and then when we play it, it's not null anymore, but it's null right here, not null right there anymore. Since it's not null, then it's going to be glitter. Since um, you can pretty much you can pretty much say this balloon is like the default value of decoration if decoration ends up being null. So All right, so we played around with that. That's all I have for you guys today. I thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. Like this video, comment, and well, I'll see you guys next time. As always, stay